You've seen your friend John and his wife Marcia. Oh, that's where she ended up, socially for a long time. They have a very peculiar relationship. Marcia insists on controlling every aspect of John's life. One day when you're talking to John, he confesses that about 3 years ago he began seeing another woman, one who is beautiful, kind, gentle, and loving. He's been thinking about leaving Marcia for this other woman, but is unsure if he can. Give him advice. Comfortable. What kind of advice are you going to give him? See a marriage counselor. John tells you that he and Marcia have already been to several marriage counselors. This sounds familiar. 2 marriage counselors got so fed up with Marcia that for the sake of their own sanity, they refused to seek the couple anymore. 2 others said the problem was John's own wimpiness and desire to be controlled. Excuse me, sir. I believe the problem is that you are wimpy. Court adjourned. Which John knew anyway, but couldn't help. Do you want to give John any more advice? What advice will you be giving now, Sigmund? He doesn't have to divorce her. Very simple advice, just like that. Pick up a whole relationship, a whole life, and transfer to another. Think about what phase of life you're in now. Chances are, John and Marcia have been together for 20 years or more. For a guy who's getting used to getting structure and direction from a person like Marcia, this kind of move would be terrifying. Your intentions are good. You want to see John happier than he is now. The fact is that regardless of how a relationship looks to outsiders, when 2 people stay together, they usually have complementary sets of needs. Believe it or not, he may actually desire a woman who is domineering as Marcia. Your advice to him is logical, but people often do not act that way. As a result, John's ambivalence turns to anger, which he directs at you for butting into his life. Trollface number 2! Oh, that error happens a lot. I'll be right back when it's fixed. Okay. Lately, you have been feeling sharp twinges of pain localized in the stomach. The pain arrives about an hour or 2 after eating, but disappears completely when you put something into your stomach. I once had something like that, but it was a little different. Anyway, go to the doctor concerned. Your concern is justified. The doctor tells you you've developed an ulcer. Oh, that's great. Well, that's just great. Right now, the ulcer can be treated with some antacids and other medications by rest and relaxation, and by avoiding stressful situations whenever possible. Will you take the doctor's advice? Might be a smart idea. Good. Eventually you recover. Alright. At a carnival, a friend tries to convince you to have your cards read by Madame Natasha, a psychic medium. Sure. Frivolously see her. You step inside a dark room. Medium Natasha looks more like large Natasha. Oh, that was good! And fills most of the space. You notice she has a kind face and a gentle voice. The fee for a reading is $50. Cash only, place the link. Natasha asks if you want to continue. Sure. Madame Natasha speaks. You are a very interesting fellow, my dear. Sometimes prevent exiting. This is torture on trying to pronounce these words. How dare you put this in the game? Sometimes somber and withdrawn. You will have mixed luck in life, you understanding the link? Mixed luck. In a very short time you will have 2 experiences, one a very lucky experience, one not lucky, but not necessarily terrible either. I see people standing around you in an open place and talking to you in a loud voice. What else? Let's see. Oh yes, I see evil coming into your life. Great voices of evil, causing you pain and suffering. This is all the cards will tell us for now, the link. For $100, I take the traveler's check. If you have it, I will light a candle which will tell the rest of the story. Are you willing? Da! Thank you, the link. Now let us see. These voices of evil. They are very, very powerful. They are needing big spell. This spell will rid you of them for a long, long time. The cost of such a spell is minimal. $500. All materials included, compared to the havoc caused by the absence of the spell. Are you willing? I think I see where this is going. Well, you got my cash. Goodbye. Niet. Good thinking. At $50, you were just a bit gullible. At $100, you were a sucker. At $500, I would have tried to sell you a nice piece of real estate right near the Florida Everglades. First of all, I didn't want to move anyway. Second of all, I don't want to get eaten by an alligator. Third of all, you're definitely lying. You call me a sucker and then, hey, want a house? Please. As you advance vocationally, you must leave your old responsibilities to various different people. On your next move forward, you are notified that a woman, full of new ideas, techniques, and strategies, is about to fill your old position. She will not be placed without your approval. You interview her for the position, and she comments that while she feels you did a good job where you were, she plans on doing a better one. She sees your skills in the area that you are about to leave as limited and old-fashioned, due to no fault of your own, but times are changing, you know. Calm. I recommend you get hired. Do you like her style? Okay. In 3 months' time, everyone who comes in contact with her is complaining she's intolerable to work with. You can recommend that she be let go. You can see this person doesn't take direction very well. This may be the only thing that will calm her down. Well. You and a group of friends are sitting around discussing people you used to know. It seems an oddball acquaintance of yours who became a recluse, always holed up in his workshop, has just invented a pocket golf ball washer that has earned him a large fortune. After making all that money, instead of retiring, he has chosen to donate it to a charity for homeless inventors, and is now back at work. Sure enough, just 2 weeks after this discussion, he shows up at a social function. Naturally, everyone who speaks with him has a remark to make about his behavior. Eventually, he wanders over to the group of people with whom you are having a discussion. I'm supportive. I will say something positive about what he has done. In a quiet voice, he asks if he could speak to you privately about something. Walk away from the crowd for a moment. He thanks you for the kind words and mentions that he realizes everyone around him thinks he's a nut. You've never really heard him talk at length, but you find out that he really doesn't care what other people think and never did. He has a very enjoyable life on the whole. Gee, want to trade places? It seems he needs $5,000 of seed money to get his newest project going, a scheme to invent a trash compactor that converts garbage into an energy product that can heat your home. If you invest the money, you'll receive half of all the profits that the project generates. Let's lose more money! Project is a failure. You have lost your investment. Well, I've still got 23 grand. Well, I don't have a whole lot to lose, but, A teenage girl named Kathy Reinhardt works at the dry cleaning store that you use. One evening, you arrive at the store just as it is closing. You absolutely need the clothes tonight. Kathy is already out the door. Because you know Kathy by name, and because you also know that she's friendly, you feel sure that she'll reopen the store and get you your clothes. Hi! You reopen the store. Your social skills make it easy for you to ask for this request in a way that's difficult to refuse. That wasn't very difficult to refuse. It sounded dumb. She reopens the store for you. As you watch her disappear to the back of the store, you notice how firm her body is, and for a moment drift back to the days when you were that young. Was it that long ago, you wonder? Yes, you conclude, it was that long ago. Kathy snaps you back to reality by handing you a big pile of clothes. After you walk out of the store, you notice Kathy having car trouble. Try to help her fix the car. All the fiddling in the world won't help. The battery's completely dead. Hey, wanna lift back home? In the car on the way home, you notice her looking at you in a peculiar sort of way. She tells you that it's funny to be sitting next to someone who she's only seen from behind a counter. You find yourself talking very freely to her. For a moment, your connection to her is like taking a fast train ride back to adolescence. Because you're relating to her more on her own level, she perceives you as a different kind of adult. Honestly curious and even envious about her life, rather than critical like most other adults. As you begin to feel younger, she begins to feel older. She says she hopes that when she gets older, she'll stay young and attractive looking like you. You begin to realize you could really enjoy talking to Kathy for a long time. When you arrive at her block, you discover that she lives alone in an apartment. She moved out of her parents' home because she needed to be independent, aka do things you can't do in public. She invites you out for a cup of coffee. No. I have to get back home. On the way home, you begin to think back to the time when you were just a teenager yourself. Maybe Kathy was the type of girl you would have asked out. She was very attractive. You sigh as you are transported briefly to another time of your life. Well, I don't know. I kinda had Cindy for a while already. Whatever hair you have left is rapidly turning gray. Take that. Depressed. Ask for advice. Who will you ask? Wife. Cindy tells you she loves you just the way you are. She prefers you with gray hair. Will you dye it anyway? No. Then it wasn't your hair that was bothering you. Well, okay. I'm sorry, my eyelashes tend to upset me sometimes. You just walked into a store, and there's apparently no one around to take your order. It seems that the person who should be waiting on you has stepped out of sight for a few moments. Waiting in the store with you is a teenage boy about 16 years old, wearing an old t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. He must have arrived a few seconds before you. He's tapping his foot lightly to the sound of the imaginary rock and roll band playing in his head. Does anyone realize how stupid you look whenever you do that? Hello, sir, may I take your order? The proprietor steps out from the room at the back of the store, makes eye contact with you, and says, Nah, place your order, I'm neutral. Did you realize the boy was in the store ahead of you? Yeah. What reason do you have for not mentioning it? It didn't seem important enough to mention. Why are you interrogating me like this? Of course not, but did you consider the feelings of that young man? Adolescence is a time when feelings of insignificance and confusion about self-worth are a matter of course. You may have served to heighten these feelings in this young man and caused him to feel uncomfortable. Well, you know what? We all wish we could reverse time, but it can't happen. Your car has to be taken in for some minor repair work. The work will not cost you any appreciable amount of money, but it will be an inconvenience since you'll have to drop the car off at the repair shop early in the morning and rearrange your usual travel plans. You call in to make an appointment. The service representative tells you that repairs are made on a first-come, first-served basis. Bring it in to be fixed. I'm calm. It's easy to see that you're an optimist. You're greeted by a mechanic who's clearly holding a book with the word appointments in big letters across the front. You clearly recall hearing the cars would be taken on a first-come, first-served basis. Perhaps they're running a beauty parlor in the back of the garage. Perhaps they used to do service by appointment, and now they just keep the book for something else. No, it's a bona fide appointment book. The mechanic apologizes for the misunderstanding. He sees that you're a calm person and is prepared to treat you with courtesy. He can give you an appointment for 3 weeks from Friday. Fine. There's always wagon. You get to yell and scream. No, accept the appointment. Not only are you calm, but you're also quite unassertive with all due respect. Over the next 3 weeks, your car's health deteriorates rapidly. The cost of the repair bill when you finally do get to your appointment is $500. After your car splits in half from consistent use. Why do I keep clicking the dating icon? Shish kebab. Your wife has an interesting habit, which she has displayed many times over the years you've been married. Every time the two of you go out to eat dinner, she leans over your plate and picks at the food in your dish. Tonight, the two of you are with very special friends. Moments after you sit down to eat, she spares an appetizer from your dish and pops it in her mouth. Say something firm, but polite to her. It's better than giving her a dirty look. Whatever you say to her is bound to make her look and feel like a child. Her behavior may have been rude, but under the circumstances, you might have been a bit more forgiving. Well, that's what I was thinking myself. You awake one morning, and in the confusion of being still in a daze, you remember, this is Michael's wedding day. Well, that escalated quickly. Seriously, he was like a 4-year-old the last time I had an experience with him, and that was only a couple situations ago. You hurry to get ready, making sure all of the last-minute arrangements are made. The ceremony is truly heartwarming. My children do grow up fast. Yeah, you can say that again. As you watch your handsome son walk down the aisle, your chest swells with pride. A few more steps and he'll be on his own. For a moment, you are filled with overwhelming sadness. Suddenly, you begin to think about the pattering of little feet running around the house again. A whole new generation of blessings to come. You say the word grandpa to yourself, not thinking about the age associated with just the two words grand and father. Magnificent. You suppose he still looked like that when he was saying his vows? Anyway. Some back-breaking labor has to be done in your home over the next few days. The chore is unpleasant but important. No one who lives with you is willing to help. They are watching Super Duck. You thought I was finally gonna let that go? It'll never, ever happen. Determined to do it. You're quite a remarkable person. Your physical sphere is in prime condition, and you handle the laborious task with surprising ease. Your determination is so intense that you could easily outwork 3 people half your age. The experience is not without its resulting aches and pains the next day, but you have proven that with the right kind of care and attitude, age is just the state of mind. That's not always true. While you're on a sightseeing cruise, you hear a cry and see a small boy fall over the railing into the water. There doesn't seem to be enough time to call for help because the boat is moving too quickly, aka ignoring him. Thank you for boarding our ship. We hope you have fun. Bon voyage. Jump in the water after him. Calmness is a trait that is central to your personality. In this instance, you use it to react quickly and efficiently. As you enter the water, you spot the boy about 25 yards to your left. Call out to him. That was a good idea. The sound of your voice is comforting and helps orient the boy in the proper direction. Eventually, you get to the boy. As you clutch him in your arms, you see a small motorized raft from the sightseeing boat heading towards you. Your heroic efforts help save the boy's life. The next day, newspaper and television reports chronicle your heroic deed. You are quite a remarkable person. Don't be ridiculous. No, I'm not always trying to be funny after every situation. It's just something that I just comes naturally, okay? I wasn't trying to make you burst out laughing until you explode into open flames with that line. During a quiet time, you begin to reflect on your life, your accomplishments, and the people around you to whom you have formed attachments. You have lived the majority of your life, and now seems as good a time as any to take inventory. As you look around, you find that there are those much younger than you who have accomplished more. You have friends who have beautiful wives and large vacation houses in the country. You know people who have grown up to be great thinkers and scientists. There are people living who have made great contributions to society. I'm content I'll remain as I am. Not everyone can be magnificent. You must either be quite healthy, or you're resistant to facing some of the typical worries associated with this time of life. In case you're interested, some of your friends are finding themselves terribly ambivalent about their lives right about now. They're experiencing mood swings, bouts of guilt, shame and anxiety, even panic. Since you're not experiencing any of these, it would be inappropriate to offer words of encouragement. I hope your outlook remains this positive throughout the rest of the game. 'Cause you don't have much longer. Okay, that was pretty morbid. Your accountant suggests some creative accounting techniques that are guaranteed to reduce the amount of money you'll be giving Uncle Sam this year. The techniques have one minor disadvantage. They're in that gray area of accounting practices that fall dangerously close to being illegal. Heaven forbid! How gray the area is depends on the skill of your accountant, your willingness to see things his way, and the probability that your tax return will be flagged for an audit. It's April Fool's Day, a mere fortnight away from the day of reckoning. Well, this could all be a joke in that case, but... confident. Go for it. Don't be prudent. Bravo, big fella, that's the spirit. How aggressively do you want the accountant to pursue the quest for refund? The quest for refund must be done moderately aggressively. For 2,500 gold. You take a risk that pays off. You're audited, but the accounting principles employed hold up under scrutiny and some fast talking. Your father's eyesight is beginning to fail him, and his reflexes are not as quick as they used to be. However, he refuses to turn in his driver's license. Although he rarely drives, when he does, he's an absolute menace. You're sure he'll wind up killing either himself or an innocent person. Empathize. Try to reason with him sympathetically. You try to explain he might hurt himself.
Nonsense! What's the matter with you? Do you think I'm a child? I can take care of myself.
That was good soda. Empathy does not always soothe the savage beast. Your father feels as if an important decision was being made for him. This is very upsetting to older people. After spending a lifetime being responsible for your children, it's hard to accept their attempts to be responsible for you. He doesn't give up the license. Well, I just hope he's safe.